that I have nothing against anyone that's ever wronged me. I just don't. I won't live like that, but I will share this story. If I look back on my career, I want to say I wrestled at WrestleMania. I made WWE because WCW was still not at that level, back then. And so I decided to do it. But Vince McMahon, I told him what I wanted, and he gave me exactly what I wanted. And I said, Vince, I asked him for a big signing bonus. He gave me that. Everything that I thought, you know what? I'm asking to let my wife fly everywhere I fly. I wanted everybody in that business was either going through a breakup or divorce or whatever. And I thought, I just met this girl. I'm really in love. I want to make this thing work. So I said to Vince, I need one more thing. I'm signing the deal. He goes, what's that? I go, I want my wife to fly everywhere I fly. And he goes, I have never heard that before. He goes, most guys are trying to get away from their wife. So sure enough, he sent the ticket for Rena, my ex-wife. And we fly in, and we walk into Vince's office. He sees me. He goes, I got to put her on television. And that's how it started. And we came up with the name Sable. And then it was shortly after that, I really blew my knee out bad. So now I'm sitting at home collecting the same money that I was busting my ass. And it did not sit well with a lot of people. And then they used Sable a lot of times to promote Austin 316 shirts. But but she started getting really popular. It really took a turn. And gosh, I might have only shared this once or twice before. And I'm not trying to listen, we've never said a bad word about each other, but the truth is what happened. When Vince said to me, he goes, hey, Mark, Playboy has a really strong offer to have your wife in their magazine. I said, oh, no, I couldn't do that, Vince, And so I remember, I don't know why she wasn't with me at the time, but she was doing something with other TV show or something. I can't remember. But when we came home together, I said, you're not going to believe this. I got to tell you something. Vince said to me that Playboy would like you to do their magazine. She was, really? And I go, yeah. And I remember how stupid I am. And this is why I can be so honest with me now. Is that I look back at my life, what a jabroni. I think the word, if you look up jabroni, there's my picture right next to it. Playboy history. She did that 4 times. So now she's really raking it in with that. And God, I was happy for her, but our marriage starts tanking now. And at that time, you think you'd be married forever. We're always going to be together. So let's bring as much money in as possible. So make a long story short, she leaves WWE over a lawsuit. I don't know if you remember this or not, with her in the WWE. And I left my guaranteed contract. I had 3 more. I just signed a new contract. I had 3 years left on my guaranteed contract. I walked away, said, forget it. I don't want to do this no more. We had enough money to live the rest of our lives on, or at least I thought. And because the thing was, I always travel with her. We'd go to bed early, watch, get up and go on the road. I had no camaraderie with nobody. There was nobody close to me. I didn't have no friends really. But then when that lawsuit happened, I got real bad, So I sent her to California to get into some movies. She did some movies and stuff. And I stayed home with our daughter, and I would take care of Mariah while she was trying to get in the movies. And it didn't go real well. Not like she was hoping. And because we couldn't use the name Sable no more. So it's now Rena Mero. And, it didn't go well. So I'll never forget this. She calls me up and she says, hey, Mark, what do you think if I go back to wrestling? And that's how it all started. She had to go and apologize to some of the big stars of the company at the time. I won't mention names, but she went and she did the right thing. She went back and she apologized and got Sable back. And now I'm home watching the kid and taking her to school and doing all the stuff that Dad does. And she's on the road. And, every night we had this thing where we would say goodnight. And I remember that the phone calls started getting less and less. She was tired. She wasn't around as much. And I was thinking, something's going on, man. This ain't right. It was like we were really close too. And then our marriage just started tanking. Right after that Playboy thing, it just started going downhill, That I have nothing against anyone that's ever wronged me. I just don't. I won't live like that, But I will share this story. So I remember she didn't answer the phone one night. So I left. I really cut this promo on her cell phone. And I was like, why? How could you do this? Not answer your phone? We in agreement. We talk at night, blah, blah. I hung up the phone. I thought, what a jackass I am. Why would I do that? She's out there trying to earn a living. She's out there doing something she loves. So I figured I'd call back her phone. And I knew her password because we were that close. We knew all each other's passwords and stuff. So I thought, let me delete this before she hears it, right? So I call back her number and punch in her code, and it says, you have 2 unheard messages. I thought, okay, so I have to listen to the first one to get to mine. And it was another wrestler talking about them too. And I was like, your heart is broken. You can't sleep. You start sweating. You're like crazy. And I remember thinking, man, when I find out who this guy is, I'm going to kick the living tar out of this man. And then I found out it was Brooklyn. Are you kidding me? The marriage was over. We ended up getting divorced, and kudos, man. And, when I end up getting remarried again, divorced again, and, but I'm living the most amazing life. I do exactly what I love doing in life. I cannot be in a better spot. And I only hope and pray that they are happier than I am, So the one thing I want to say is that forgiveness is so important, but some of the hardest people to forgive is ourselves, man. Either you forgive or you relive. And if you ever make that choice, please forgive yourselves for past wrongdoings.